Good morning, it's Dr. Garrett and I am here at Empowering Health. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about vitamin D, what it is, how it works in the body, how we get more, what are some symptoms if we're low. So whenever we draw your blood, we are looking for what we call a normal range. And a lot of times you will feel quite miserable, quite crummy. You'll go to the doctor, you'll get your blood drawn and they'll say, you're normal, it's normal, everything's normal. And you're going, I still just don't feel right. Well, that's because you're not optimized. So that's where we're gonna start. We're gonna talk about what a normal range is for any lab level, how they come up with these normal ranges. Now, every so often, kind of like a census, they determine what normal ranges are. They take 1,000 people from a local geographical area, they measure their blood, they say, a large percentage fell down here, we're gonna call that low, a large percentage fell up here, we're gonna call that high, and we're gonna place this on a bell curve, and in the middle is gonna be our normal or average. So I have my handy dandy whiteboard here. For vitamin D, our lowest level is 30 to 100, so that's our normal range. So if you fall at 31, you're considered normal, but are you truly optimized? So think about that. You're at the bottom of the barrel over here. So optimization would be getting you closer to this top of the bell curve to the bottom side where we're at the higher levels. So anywhere from about 65 to 80 is going to be our normal range. Now, this is what we're looking for optimization. Again, your number may be 31 and that's quote unquote normal, but you will not feel well. So now let's talk a little bit about what vitamin D is. It's not actually a vitamin. It's actually a hormone. So what happens is we have this compound in our body called 7-DHC. Its big full name is 7-dehydrocholesterol. Now that is a very important thing for you to keep in mind. 7-dehydrocholesterol. So what happens is when the sun hits our skin, this compound 7-DHC is synthesized into D3. Now there are a lot of steps that go into this. It has to pass through the liver, it has to pass through the kidneys, it becomes this beautiful sun hormone. Now before it gets to that, again, we have to have some sun to synthesize it. If the sun isn't synthesizing that 7-DHC, then what happens is it gets converted into cholesterol. That's part of its name, dehydrocholesterol. Now, this isn't the only formation of cholesterol, but this is important to keep in the back of your mind. So if you are not synthesizing this hormone, this vitamin D, the way that you're supposed to, you're actually going to be increasing your cholesterol. Now let's talk about what happens when you are low. What is this going to feel like? So because this is a hormone, it actually regulates a lot of things within our body, more than you will ever know. It is not just energy that we are getting from vitamin D3. We are actually keeping our brains alive. We're decreasing the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia by keeping our vitamin D high. It is a hormone. It is help preserving our body and decreasing the cholesterol that is building up. Now, D3 is also cardioprotective, so it helps protect the heart, helps regulate heart hormones. It helps with anxiety, with mood, with just our general overall feeling of well-being. So it will also help with fatigue. So let's run down the points. If you are low or kind of more on this 30 side, what you might be feeling with this. So one, fatigue. Fatigue is very, very marked in people who have low vitamin D levels. You wake up, you just don't feel like doing anything, you want to lay back down, you want to take a nap. Now, along with that fatigue comes brain fog. You walk into a room, you can't remember why you were there, you can't bring into words into play, you might have what we call nominal aphasia, where you can't come up with certain words. There are other things that can go on within the mind as well. Anxiety and depression are very rampant in people who have low vitamin D levels. There is a reason for this. So when those vitamin D levels are low, this hormone is not helping our neurotransmitters stay within those synapses the way that it's supposed to, so that we feel good. So, it's a big thing. You have this feeling, it's not like a suicidal feeling or anything, but it's like, I don't care if I really live or die today. I don't feel like getting out of bed. What's the point? It's a very odd feeling. Now, you will have issues with palpitations if your vitamin D levels are low. Constipation is another thing. You will notice that you're not going to be absorbing your nutrients as well, meaning your immunity is going to be going down. You will notice that you're more likely to bruise. Now, this isn't anything to do with anemia, but you're more likely to develop bruising with this. You will also notice that your fat hurts. So if somebody hits you or grabs your arm, you're like, ow, why did that hurt? That shouldn't hurt like that. Now, you're also going to notice headaches. You're not going to sleep as well. It has a lot of issues with learning and memory, so you can't remember things quite so well. You can't learn new things as easily. Now, your hair, your skin, and your nails can also be affected by low vitamin D levels. You can get acne breakouts, cold sores, canker sores. You will notice more foulness to your breath. You may break out with acne. Your hair, your skin, your nails will be more brittle, more dry, more sallow. You just look kind of off and dehydrated. Now, that's what happens when your vitamin D levels are low. So how do we optimize you? How do we get you above that 30 and closer to that 65 to 80 mark? One is with supplementation. Now, here at Empowering Health, we can do vitamin injections, vitamin D injections on you that will bring you up. It does take a little while to get into your system to bring you up, but we can do those for you. You can take a vitamin D supplement. Now, a lot of times, if you were in that deficit area or closer between 30 to 40, we're having you take at least 10,000 international units of vitamin D3 a day. Now, we also want that vitamin D3 to contain a K2 supplement. So the reason why it needs a K2 supplement in it is because that K2 helps it from laying down calcium within the vessels and into channels. So you really want to make sure it has a K2 in it. Now, another thing that I forgot to mention is that if your vitamin D levels are low, you're not going to be absorbing your calcium the way that you're supposed to, which is very important, especially for women as we become older, because we run the risk of developing osteoporosis or osteopenia. So, important fact there. So back to what all you need. So the other thing, we want you to spend some time in the sun, but we want you to spend good, intelligent time in the sun. Don't go out in the sun midday when those UVB and UVA rays are at their highest. We want you to go out morning, afternoon. We also want the skin not to have any sunscreen on it. Now, I always recommend protecting the face. Again, I've had skin cancer, so that's a little scary for me. So protect the face with a hat, but expose the sun on your arms or your legs. Now, again, we want you to be smart about it. We don't want you going out there and frying into a piece of leather. We want you to make sure that, you're just getting some sun on your skin so that we can synthesize that 7-DHC into vitamin D instead of cholesterol. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can eat a diet that has vitamin D in it. So some of those very good healthy foods, there are a lot of things that are fortified with vitamin D. Now, I am a firm believer in, I would prefer you to get it from food sources, whole foods, not processed foods, over a supplement, because your body can assimilate it a little bit better. But sometimes we need a little bit additional support. Now, if you have any questions about vitamin D, there is so much more. The list goes on and on and on about this very, very important hormone, quote unquote, vitamin. So if you have questions, give me a call. The phone number here, 812-290-2128. I hope you have a lovely day.